How did I open this thing again? Maybe if I poke it with my magic staff. No. That's right. There was a password. Wait, what was that password again? Was it Breath of the Wild 2 Secret Zonai Location Hidden Dungeon? Darn it, I thought that was it for sure. That's what the video's about. Wait, is that a switch? Huh. The sprawling lands of Hyrule. Where do they start? Where do they end? Boundless plains, craggy mountains. Breath of the Wild leaves so much to ask and explore. It takes many days and many nights to trek across the ground. What secrets lie beneath the many mountains and hills? Buried treasure, perhaps? Or a great and terrible dark secret? The mysteries of Breath of the Wild that tell stories of times yet to pass or have passed are plenty abound. Even just a single mystery can pave way to a long and windy road. If you took one of these roads, they would take you up through streams and beyond great mountains to great caverns beyond. Thinkers, it's not at the summit of the mountain where this mystery begins, but in a humble cave, lit by fire and with some friends. One such friend with a rather incredible appetite and a peculiar want of naps. So pull up a rock and settle in with me, thinkers, and get cozy, because this is where our mystery begins. One fateful evening, my Discord and Patreon community gathered together after streaming, and we all sat down for a community hour, and after a good amount of banter and a laugh, the night grew old, and I was just about to turn in for the day. But then, a patron and friend of mine called Mindsight asked me to boot up Breath of the Wild one more time. Typical me, I agreed. I could never refuse a good yarn or a good mystery, and boy was I in for it, and so I grabbed a coral leaf and proceeded to yeet Link across the lands of Hyrule. Now I appreciate green-clad elf child going brrr and breaking the sound barrier with barely safety-compliant sea vehicles that could fall apart at any moment as much as the next. But ultimately, thinkers, it took mere moments for my brain to realize that this man was taking me on a journey through Hyrule in a fun and really unique way I had never seen before, discovering little details about the overworld that sparked an exciting joy for exploration and understanding. So, this journey, where does it lead? Well, I was taken all across Hyrule, but it all starts with a very simple, very quiet, and positively chillaxed paradise of a village known as Lurelin Village. A nice, unassuming village where fishmongers are selling, children are playing, Giggles is digging, the secrets that lie deep within a mountainside are sleeping. And so are the tourists that came to visit Lurelin Village. Lurelin, a place as relaxing and unsuspecting as this, Lurelin Village offers some of the most interesting questions hiding in plain sight. Some, however, more inconspicuously just existing in the everyday life of a Lurelin citizen. Symbols scattered all across the village. Some telling of a culture that once was. Some telling of existing cultures. Some more questionable than others. Observably, we see in this hut a fish symbol that, when flipped upside down, looks like Ganon. Here, we can also observe a trident with the letter G. Now, I like flipping and extrapolating hyperbole as much as the next theorist, but both of these probably have more to do with the resident fishing business than a conspiracy theory, but perhaps this is the Ganon tribe you're looking for. Or maybe not. One thing is for certain, there isn't a shortage of Zonai swirls, as we can see them spread across banners, carved in wood on houses, and even on the trinkets worn by the villagers. Incidentally, one of the younger villagers wears one such necklace. If you just inquire a little, he will lead you to the Zonai ruins that are quite unseemly, feeling almost out of place somehow. Why are they here? Also, why are they arranged almost like an entrance to something? Even the middle part Link is climbing looks like a giant door that could open. Well, perhaps in light of the recent patents Nintendo has filed in which illustrate and illuminate upon Link's time reversal mechanic, perhaps Link could be using this in a restorative sense, granting entry to those now dilapidated and sealed ancient tombs, built by a race now vanished across time. In light of this new information, easily one could make the assumption we'd see Link using this ability to revert entire structures or localized areas of certain dungeons' puzzles. Perhaps even similar to how timeshift stones revert time within a localized field. In addition, one may even posit the tangibly exciting prospects of seeing Link utilize the portal ability to warp through other surfaces to enter dungeons. Now back to Giggles. Clearly this little tank is up to something, as we could see piles of soft exposed dirt created from digging and pounding away at the rock dirt-filled walls of the cave. Why is Mr. Giggles digging a hole, you might ask? Well, it's because his family is buried beneath this lump of rock, and Link here is clearly the main villain, trying to stop him from saving them. All those countless hordes of innocent Hinox and Bokoblins killed to save the princess. Was I the villain all along, Miyamoto? Seriously though, where is he digging to, and why does it look like a massive cave-in happened sometime in this Hinox's ageless demonic lifetime? Well, cave-ins aside, if we line up Link with the entrance perfectly and then break the camera out of Link and travel in a perfectly straight line through the collapsed rock, observably, it's clear to the naked eye there is flooring indicating there is more space and that a passageway is meant to be here but is left unfinished and unmarked for developers as a placeholder for something perhaps they could use later on during the development of the sequel. As we continue down the path the cave faces, progressively sifting through the layers of rock and dirt and glitched walls, traversing a foreign space we aren't meant to observe as players. Together, we can attempt to peel apart and reverse engineer the creative process the developers went through. At the middle point of this journey, we find a massive cuboidal space. Likely, this cuboidal, unnaturally even object within the mountain exists for potentially any number of reasons. Perhaps it could have been the starting point for the mountain itself to be built around. And perhaps implicatively, a placeholder for a dungeon of sorts, giving the developers more or less the boundaries and/or limitations of open space to build an open-air dungeon within the mountain? It's well known that Breath of the Wild had cut content, but we also know that Nintendo is not foreign to reusing old assets in currently existing engines to create new games. Perhaps this dungeon was cut or scrapped or simply marked in the mountain to allow returning developers to create a new game quickly using the existing map of Breath of the Wild. It does fit with Nintendo's past behaviors of using old assets to create new games, and from what we see in the trailers, we see Link returns to Hyrule's landscapes in differing points of time than present-day Hyrule. When observing these temporal differences in Hyrule, it almost feels similar to the timeshift stones, where a space exists in the past and present simultaneously for the user of the stone. Perhaps parts of Hyrule's landscape in Breath of the Wild may still be pocketed in the past, present, and future. Just imagine ruins with mechanisms once functional worn in from time's unyielding hands. Boulders that once covered cave entrances now both revert with Link's time reverse powers in localized intentional pockets. Alongside this, perhaps we will also see larger, more broader shifts brought on from the influence of Ganon's resurgence. When speculating the real purpose of these powers, it's an obviously high probability that Link will use time reversal as a means of uncovering hidden dungeons, caved-in entrances, as well as accessing their ancient doorways by reverting their age back to a time when ruins were no longer ruins, but functional, whole, and complete structures of technological prowess. Perhaps this might be so, perhaps. But back to the journey. Life is often not a straight line, but in the case of Mr. Giggle's mystery hole digging within the mountain, this mystery is built quite literally upon a line that goes deeper and further down, just like this mystery. If we want answers, truly thinkers, we have to go deeper. As we continue down this straight line from the collapsed-in entrance where Giggles was digging, continuing past the cuboidal object at the heart of the mountain, further down this straight line we go, and deeper into the dark depths of shadow and flame. Secrets we find veiled in layers of intention, past the dirt and rock of a mountain-sized rug, peeled away over time as we go deeper. We remain on this line, but our height must now drop. Still, we travel perfectly in line with the cave, but as our height drops, expectations remain high, if not higher, of a promise of something, anything, answers, but all we see is darkness and endless water. Do we give up on this journey? Is there a light at the end of the tunnel? Will Mr. Giggle see the other side of the mountain? Wait, is that a Zonai swirl? No, it's a rectangle. But wait, enhance. Enhance further. Zoom and enhance a further time. Oh my, a Zonai Ruins entrance. Entrance you might say. It's just 3 blocks stacked next to one another, is it not? Well, to be fair and frank, I'd say you'd be wrong not to assume this at first. Even I had a hard time seeing these ruins any differently, but when I had Link walk up to get a closer look at the front face of it, close enough to smell its hard, rocky surface, it finally dawned on me. This middle section isn't just a block or a wall or an inscription tablet. As I said earlier, this is a doorway, an entranceway. Waving my own Portal 2 traversable wormhole powers around. Yeah, that's right. You didn't think I'd not ask Link to show me how to do that, did you? Anyway, clipping through the wall, we can see the details of an archway, further arguing this space to be a point of entry into the mountain, only to be blocked off by boulders, of which, once clipped through, show signs of a corridor. In spite of the height drop, the fact it lines up perfectly with the cave entrance and with the massive cuboidal space in the mountain, well, it can't just be a coincidence. Better yet, the strange circular mirror tablet that references the Mirror of Twilight as an Easter egg is inherently part of this place and the once powerful tribe known as the Zonai. What then are the Lurelin villagers in all this? Clearly, they have some significance with this as well? Could all the different symbols we found earlier have anything to do with this? They even have a library with texts from every single wake of life at the village, and even more suspect is that there is a Korok stone puzzle in the shape of a triangle on the roof, symbolizing the Triforce perhaps, or even just a single piece of the Triforce. Furthermore, going deeper into our conspiracy, why is there a G-shaped swirl with a trident? Why is there Zonai swirls, symbols of a tribe lost to the ages, all across this village? What does the swirl's meaning even hold? Well, all that tinfoil talk is giving me a headache, so I'm just gonna tack that to the corkboard for later and focus on more concrete links between the village and the mountain. Observably, a child from Lurelin Village knows about the round tablet. When you speak to the child, he will escort you through the winding mountainside pathways and take you to the Zonai Ruins entrance. The very same entrance where another Lurelin villager is seen observing the tablet. Now, whilst his existence here and the child's knowledge of its location can be explained away with the proximity of the village, well, we have a glaring point here. When you gather all the missing pieces of the round stone tablet, the Lurelin villager actually can read it. With the aid of a few mods, we can physically put this tablet together. It's when the tablet is put together that we can see the writing for ourselves. When translated by Garini, the text reads as follows. When the two find their place and kneel in reverence, the shrine will reveal itself. Thinkers, what Garini states it means isn't so much important as the fact Garini being able to read this fluently implies. Garini, a Lurelin villager being able to read this, implies that Lurelin's folk read and understand this language almost commonplace, which is significant in many ways, but the most important being that firstly, the Lurelin folk are in some way strongly linked or tied with the ruins and its ancient creators, the Zonai. What if Lurelin was a village set in the present, with a culture spanning the ages? They use the Zonai swirl exclusively across their homes and structures and even wear trinkets shaped as such. What if Lurelin and the Zonai are the same? What if they... Oh god, no. I forgot about the Cone of Stone! What if their dark secret is that hidden away, secreted in rock and darkness, water, time, space, shadow, and flame? Is the body of Ganon. Okay, no, seriously, don't leave yet. What if it's true? Well, okay, how could it be true? Well, thinkers, this is where the journey Mindsight took me through truly goes down the rabbit hole. We know the ruins of the Zonai are at this point linked closely to the tablet and to the Lurelin villagers. After much time exploring the innards of the mountain, from Mr. Giggle's cave entrance to the cuboidal space in the mountain's heart, all the way to the Zonai entranceway, we have us now a picture emerging of a cave network with a dungeon, an entranceway with a second entrance or exit at the rear. But what if we looked at this from top down? We now reimagine the journey now from Zelda and Link's perspective at the point of Breath of the Wild 2's plot and where it begins. Their journey now explored and seen from their eyes. Picture this. After the glorious and decisive battle with Calamity Ganon, Zelda and Link leave after defeating Calamity Ganon for Zora's domain, but are sent to the Lurelin Village due to the ties the Zora have with Lurelin. Link and Zelda gather the pieces of the stone tablet and Link's hand is bestowed with a mysterious power but cannot understand how to use it or the significance this power holds. Now, because the two have now found their place and are at the Zonai ruins together in reverence, the door opens and unlocks. With the ruins door opened, unlocking the mountain, Zelda and Link enter. Upon walking through the doorway, they load into the cuboidal space where the entrance of Ganon's tomb from the trailer appears. They walk into the massive, foreboding entrance of Ganon's tomb, proceeding deeper within the mountain's watery cave networks, finding Zonai ruins littered with luminous stones as seen within the first trailer. Eventually, they reach the bottommost part of the tomb within the mountain, stopping at the entrance to a rounded circular room. They enter this circular room, a room located at the top point of the massive rock cone structure, a structure we observed with our free cam powers and finally find Ganon's corpse. Then, in a series of unfortunate events, Link interacts accidentally or intentionally with the seal of the corpse using the round tablet's powers he doesn't fully understand yet. Things go awry. Ganon's body writhes and twists, crackling to life. Link tries to use the Master Sword, but there's too much malice and the sword runs out of energy and completely dissipates, leaving Link's arm vulnerable. The malice climbs further, burning his arm with its raw, unrestrained power. Then, in a flash of surprise, the floor collapses. It's at this moment of surprise, Ganon takes his chance to escape. As the monstrous sound of rock and ground break away, a shriek of terror is heard as Zelda falls down the long, rocky, cavernous, conical structure into darkness, all whilst Link hangs above, rescued by the green glowing hand which pulls him through the roof, traversing into a different room where he rests only to later awaken with the Spiritomb now forming over his own. As Ganon's resurgence tears across the land, it shifts the world into different places in time. Days pass, and eventually Link will awaken to later escape off-screen via the back entrance of Mr. Giggle's cave. Only this time, Link emerges to a world he partly recognizes. But none of this matters. He must now set off to save the princess, and in doing so, also restore Hyrule to its former glory. Now, I feel a little bit of skepticism whilst telling the story at this point, so let's do some comparisons and lore digging. The room where Ganon's body rests within is shaped similarly to the rounded, mostly circular shape of the cone. It's so similar in shape, and so perfectly fitting, it makes almost too much sense. We know there are hidden underwater rivers flowing through the mountain, as we can see water flows out of the mountain on one side with a reservoir of water on the other. If we clip through, we can see it's meant to flow into the mountain before flowing infinitely down, becoming one with Breath of the Wild's infinite sea world beneath the world's surface. Massive sea world. Wind Waker, anyone? Just kidding. Let's get back to Zelda falling down the long rocky rabbit hole. Look, this conical structure fits almost perfectly with the chamber's dimensions, and when we look at the trailer where Zelda falls, we know it's a very long way down, and somewhere at the bottom is a tremendous sea of malice. Taking this here brave volunteer in a simulated recreation of the trailer's room based on what happens and on the dimensions of the conical structure, well, if we just go in the footsteps of Link and Zelda stumbling across Ganon's resting corpse only for the floor to cave in and Ganon to run away, well, okay, let's hit that switch and see how it all plays out. Well, okay, it pretty much plays exactly how you'd think. Seriously though, even when the conical structure is recreated in Minecraft and overlaid with Ganon's room, it plays out perfectly. Honestly, I can't not see the entire journey in the trailer playing out in this way. From the start of Link and Zelda's arrival at Lurelin Village, to their deeper understanding of the round tablet, to entering the mountain through the Zonai doors, to loading inside the mountain's open-air dungeon where Ganon's tomb entrance is, entering it and venturing deeper into a mountain containing a secret far darker and more sinister than anyone could have ever imagined. The body of Ganon. Only this time, Ganon escaped and buried Zelda at the bottom of a deep and dark cave. That is, until Link finally finds a way to combine his now specifically patented time reversal powers and traversable wormhole portal 2 powers so he can travel back and catch his princess when she falls, like the hero we know he is. Better watch out, video game theoretical physicists. There's a new patent in town, and its name has Nintendo written all over it. But hey, But seriously, thanks for watching, thinkers. This video is just the beginning, an entryway into the first of many more journeys we will go and explore together as an anthology. If you liked the video and want to tell me what you felt about the mountain and how Breath of the Wild 2 will take place, or if Mr. Giggles is paying child support for all those kids he's got buried under the rocks, well, let me know in the comments below, and be sure to leave a like if you liked the video and share it around with other Zelda enthusiasts like yourselves. Also, I need to make a huge shout out to my first Patreon member, Pixel Fusion Productions. Thank you for believing in my channel enough to support it right at the beginning Patreon opened up. Please go check out their channel, they make some really cool theories. Also, I'm proud to say the Quantum Realm has expanded its fold since then to include Cass, Henry, Mindsight, and Elfie. You're all amazing big-brained thinkers, and I can't not thank you enough. Mindsight, this theory was your brainchild, your idea, and I have tried with all my heart to bring it to life for you. I loved every second of working on this video with you, so thank you. Thinkers, if you enjoyed this video, let me know your thoughts in the comments below and hit that like button and subscribe.
If you want to support the channel's content monetarily, you can join as a member on Patreon or join on YouTube. Both will get your name in the credits and behind the scenes access. Now before I head out, be sure to share some of that love and support around at my partner's Instagram at ElfSpringArt.
Additionally, Elfie is now open for commissions publicly, so if you want something created, again, head down to their Instagram page.
Give them a follow. Love ya, Elfie! Thinkers, have a big-brained, thonky day, and be sure to think safe out there. Bye-bye!